feel like no matter how much you prepare yourself for it and you hear like it's giant, you don't really get it until you're here and you're like, whoa.
They should have said the poet.
So beautiful. Beautiful.
On this episode, we discuss all things ISE and HETMA, all that and more on EDTech. EDTech episode 127, Going International. Hello, AV friends, and welcome to another episode of EDTech. So this episode is going to be a little bit different because we are coming at you from the Fira in Barcelona at during the Integrated Systems Europe show, aka ISE. So today I've brought two guests on instead of our awesome regular panel of AV professionals. But so today I have with us Patrick Angielczyk. Did I get it right?
You got it.
All right.
Angielczyk, yep.
From Mohawk College in Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada. But I mean, if you don't know this in Canada, you're probably need a little help. But yeah. So, and I also have Teddy Murphy, who is at the University of Pikeville in Kentucky, and also the 1-year at-large board member for HETMA. So yeah, thank you for joining me, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so Patrick, why don't I start with you? What do you do over at Mohawk College?
So at Mohawk College, I'm the AV technologist, and so what does that mean? Probably like a bunch of schools in the States, we wear multiple hats. We do multiple of things from programming, install, commissioning, purchasing, installation. I don't even know what I've mentioned already, but we do it all. So at Mohawk, we're a team of 2 reporting to 1 manager. So shout outs to Norm Jacobs and Anthony Salvatore. We have 360 classrooms. We have a whole whackload of huddle spaces and meeting spaces that we're in charge of. So we have a lot on our plate. And we do a little bit of everything.
Amazing. I always am absolute in awe of like the 2-man show where you have to just cover so much and with so little. That's excellent. And how about yourself, Teddy? You like.
I am the academic technology and AV specialist. That means I lead our AV sector, as we call it. We're a team of 3. We do everything from I handle the design. We do a lot of our own installation. We do partner with some integrators for labor for other integrations. We handle all the support for all of our spaces. We have 160 academic spaces that include simulation labs, classrooms, huddle spaces. Then we have, we also support events, and we do last year we did 514 events on campus. So we have, have our hands in a little bit of everything as well on campus.
Awesome. Well, okay, so Patrick, not only do you do all those amazing things at Mohawk College, you also have a position with AVIXA. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Correct. So I'm currently the co-chair of the Rising AV Professionals Council. So we're looking for new and upcoming people that are looking to either get their feet wet in AV, or maybe looking for a change, or maybe they're currently working in IT and are kind of trying to see what AV has in store for them. So the AV Council, basically we meet once a month for about an hour. And if you're having a difficult time trying to get time from your employer to come and join us on the council, what we have is called a justification letter. This is basically like a doctor's note. And you can basically present this to your employer and say, hey, I want to take the next step in my AV career and learn more about what AVIXA and the AV industry has to offer. And you can present them with that, and they, there's a bunch of different information on there. They can get in touch with myself or the other co-chair, Stephen, and basically we'd be happy to have new upcoming rising professionals to join us on the council.
That's fantastic, and I think that council is a great idea I think with AV sometimes it tends to be it's not a career that people grew up wanting to be. So I think that's a great idea to kind of help onboard them almost in sorts, but in a great way so that hopefully they stay grounded in the AV space. And that's kind of like the HETMA's Prism Scholarship too, because we give 10 people who identify in an underrepresented demographic the opportunity to get their CTS certification, which hopefully kind of keeps them in the AV space. So, Teddy, as a HETMA board member, this is the first HETMA booth at ISE. What does this mean to not only HETMA as an organization, but also higher ed globally?
To me, it indicates that we are being taken seriously now. The higher ed vertical is a huge market for AV technology, and people are starting to realize that. And that's been one of the biggest things we've been hearing here from our partners and from other manufacturers is they want to be in on AV and they're on higher ed, and they're glad to see that we're here. We're representing our vertical. We're doing it well, I feel. And maybe I'm just highly opinionated, but it's huge. It's going to give us more leeway with the manufacturers, integrators, everyone who partners with us, because they're like, these people know what they're talking about. And if you don't feel like you do, that's the best thing about, I'm going to plug us, that's one of the best things about, the HETMA community, is sometimes you can come in and be like, hey, I've got this idea. And we'll be like, tell you, all right, it's a great idea, maybe you can polish it this way, or I've been told by people that's the dumbest effing idea I've ever heard. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to back up and start over. So we have a great community, and having a booth here at ISE is huge. And thinking about what it means for us, almost brings a tear to my eye, really. Because we're finally getting to where I feel we should have been a long time ago.
No, absolutely, and it's really exciting to have a lot of the manufacturers come up that their U.S. side of the business isn't even here, but the European side is like, we've heard about you guys, and we're interested in what's going on here and want to be part of it. So that's really, really exciting. But I mean, ISE, let's get to talking about what we're really here for, the technology. So I know, Patrick, you are really just starting to get to look at stuff, but have you seen anything, or what are you looking for?
So I was here last year. We had 8 halls last year, and I don't want to really admit this, but I only got to 5 of the halls last year, because this place is just gigantic. It's massive. So I'm hoping that I can kind of get through all of the halls this year, and we'll see. I'm looking forward to meeting people from higher ed here, because they have a different outlook on how they do technology in the education space. Last year I had the opportunity of talking with Justin Dawson about what he was doing in his university, and I met some very interesting people at some of the booths, and just telling me about how they do things here in Europe, and it's kind of an eye-opener to what they're doing versus to what we're doing. Now, in the you mentioned the technology piece as well. There is so much technology here, it's absolutely overwhelming. You have everything from AV to unified communications to networking to you name it, it's all under one roof. So I'm looking forward to going through all the halls and seeing what ISE has to offer this year.
Absolutely. What about you, Teddy? Like, have you seen anything yet? Or I know that we've been. It's tough to kind of host a podcast about ISE when I haven't even gotten to really check out much of the show yet. But have you seen anything yet, or is there anything you're looking for?
Well, I've been, at the HETMA booth mostly. I've got to explore a good bit of Hall 2 and Hall 3. I have not made it down to the other end, so not sure what's going on over there, but definitely just overwhelming. Like walking through just to get to the booth in the mornings can be a little overwhelming. Like for people who have never been here or people that aren't as tech focused, they're looking around and just like, I have no clue what I'm even looking at until you go out to it. I've tried when I have visited. I visited our HETMA sponsored booths. There's a few things that are working that I like the way they work. I spent a little time over at the Logitech Connected Classroom. That intrigues me. Of course, made a visit over to the EpiFan. There's some upcoming firmware changes, things that are, exciting me. But other than that, I came over here straight with the mission to represent HETMA and to, represent us well to the European market. And that's really what I came to do, and I feel that we have done that.
Yeah. Now, this is your first ISE,
this
correct?
This is my first ISE, and it was a lot more than I expected.
I feel like no matter how much you prepare yourself for it and you hear, like, it's giant, you don't really get it until you're here and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That the hall is it's like from one end to the other it's so massive, and then you have all of these offshoots. I mean, I love how it's organized. And most of the stuff that I am interested in is centralized kind of to halls 2 and 3, but I do kind of look forward to trying to branch out into 4 and 5 and maybe hit the multi-technology and audio areas farther at the end. But it does amaze me when you go through Hall 3, which is where a lot of the display manufacturers and projectors are, they always do these really grand booths and setups, and you just have people standing there in the middle of the aisle taking videos and just in awe of everything. And it's almost a little frustrating when you're like, I need to just get through here.
Yeah.
But
especially when they had the idea to put I think it's Samsung and LG directly across from each other on the main throughway.
Yeah.
And you just can't walk through it all.
It is so difficult. I mean, it was so busy yesterday in Hall 3 that I actually had to wait in line at the ladies' room, which is unheard of at a tech show. Because usually there aren't that many women there to begin with, so it's not a problem. But there were so many people in general, but I think it's a really good sign that there were that many women also. Yep. That there was actually a line. So I know, like, is there any up and coming types of technologies that you're interested in potentially putting into classrooms?
So it's not necessarily been my interest, but I'm looking into it. Our medical school is really interested in doing more XR, VR stuff. So I've talked to a few people here that are doing that on a larger scale. So that is something that I am looking into, and finding the correct content. Like they're sending things for us to look over, and it just doesn't work with what they're wanting to do.
Right.
So,
well, and with that sort of thing too, it's like, sure, you can give them the technology to make it happen, but if they don't have the content to really keep up, it's kind of a waste.
Yep. So that's really that's where I see future focus that we have, because even with like in our commentary school, they're already doing they call it virtual magic, or VR magic is the name of the lab. It's a VR simulation for like running slit lamps and things of that nature. So they're wanting to enhance from there and look for new ways to, be virtual. There's discussions because, we do have our medical school has a real anatomy lab. There's some schools that have went away from that and went entirely to a virtual anatomy. We don't believe in that, but we would like to supplement that with more virtual anatomy. That way, more students, because there's limited time that they can be in the lab, it will give them more time to study outside without the conflict.
And how about you, Patrick?
Basically looking to see what we can start adding into our classrooms to kind of develop a standard. We've never really had a standard, and we're trying to not only upgrade our classrooms, but also to develop a standard so that we have the same user interfaces, user experience from room to room to room. Now, we also do have some active learning classrooms and some high-flex classrooms, so what can we look at to kind of have that experience from room to room to room? We have different modalities of pedagogy and different ways in using the technology. So how do we kind of incorporate that? How do we set a standard? How do we make sure that the UI, UX is all the same? The other thing too that I'm also looking at is potentials in digital signage. So we have digital signage across our 3 main campuses, and we're just basically looking just to see what's out there right now. We have a great system that we're using right now, but we're always looking for new and upcoming ideas, what we can incorporate. We have some life systems that are currently available. Maybe, is there a better way of doing CMS? So there's different things. I come to a show like this just to kind of get ideas, bring it back to the table, and see if we can have some more discussions and maybe some more knowledge for the team, and hopefully get some additional training, and then kind of do some more deployment and expand on that.
That's excellent. Yeah, and I love that you were talking about standardization, because it really is hard when you're doing the different types of modalities, because then you have different types of controls and stuff. But giving faculty a similar user interface is so important, and giving them that experience, like that similar experience. Like maybe not every room can have the bells and whistles, but you can scale it and try to at least make something similar across the board. I know that one of the things, there hasn't been a lot of interest technically from the faculty side of things, but I personally have been extremely interested in immersive environments, because I feel like I'm one of those learners that I can't just sit in a room and be talked to. But I think an immersive experience would help me absorb the material so much more, because it's putting me in that environment instead of like sitting in a room that looks like the picture that's kind of behind us, a big lecture hall. But yeah, so I'm hopefully I can take a little time away from the booth and be able to check out some of the immersive stuff that is here. Yeah, so Patrick, the HETMA Roadshow is coming to your area soon. Very excited about that. Tell us a little bit about maybe what our members can expect there.
Absolutely. So, George Brown College, a college that's in the heart and center of Toronto. Mark Sear from George Brown College will be hosting the HETMA Roadshow that's coming to Toronto March 25th. We're super excited. I've been talking to Joe and yourself at previous shows like Infocom and ISE last year of how we can bring HETMA to Canada, and I think this is the first great starting point for us. It's a big stepping stone for us. We are super pumped and super excited about bringing HETMA over the border, and we're just looking forward to having a great event. We're currently working on trying to get our sponsorships and try and spread the word as best as we can to all all the colleges and universities in Ontario, and we're hoping if there's anyone that wants to join us from neighboring provinces, we're going to be more than happy to welcome them in. So we're super excited. I can't even mention how excited we are.
Right? Yeah, I'm myself. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. Spent a lot of time in Ontario and especially Toronto. So I'm kind of used visiting family as an excuse to be like, I'm gonna make my way up there to check out the show, and because it'll be interesting to see, how we can pull off something that's special and tailored to the needs and wants of your area.
One of the things that I've been mentioning for a few years now is that we've kind of had a disconnect between colleges and universities, but more now than ever, we're doing the same thing. We have the same hybrid classrooms, high flex classrooms, active learning classrooms. We're all doing the same thing. We're all talking the same talk, walking the same walk. So now it's time to bring it all together and make sure that, everyone's coming to the table. We're exchanging ideas. We're talking about what brands are working to the best of our abilities, right? So, and I think that HETMA has already started that with some of their manufacturer partnerships. And, it's just going to open opportunity for us in Canada. So thank you very much to both of you for allowing HETMA to cross over into the Toronto space.
Absolutely, because we've seen so much value in it in our own careers, and I know that I love being able to share and have the HETMA community as a resource. And now it's so wonderful. We don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want to let everybody around the whole world, be able to share the experience. Because you're right, colleges and universities, even though we, may have different budgets or we're different sizes, we're different disciplines, but in the main essence of the classroom technology departments or even the live event departments, we're really very similar, and it's great to be able to collaborate and learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to start wrapping this up. But any last words? Any last comments? This is being recorded on Thursday of the show, so we still have tomorrow, and pretty much right after this recording, the higher ed happy hour starts. So we're very excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, any last words?
I just want to say thank you for having me. It's been a blast. First time as a guest on EDTech. I look forward to hopefully doing it again.
Excellent.
And definitely looking forward to hopefully getting some more time on the show floor tomorrow to hit the other end that I haven't been to, Hall 4, Hall 5. I'm a pro audio nerd too, so definitely want to hit the audio area. Maybe get a demo or two. So thank you.
Aaron, thank you very much for having me as a guest on your podcast. Definitely, if you're looking for a good way to learn about what's going on in the industry, definitely check out podcasts that are out there. There's a bunch of them. It's a great way to, on your way to work, to listen to something and to basically get more knowledge of what's happening in the industry, right? So thank you to you. Thank you to HETMA for allowing me to be a guest on your podcast, and looking forward to what the rest of ISE has to offer.
Absolutely. So if, after somebody listens to this episode, they want to reach out to you, how might they?
Best way to reach me is on LinkedIn, Patrick Angielczyk. I think and hope that the spelling of my name will be associated to this podcast, because it's not a very easy one.
You can find me on the HETMA community, of course, and LinkedIn. Just look for Teddy Murphy. I will be the large bald man with glasses. That's probably, LinkedIn and the HETMA community are the best way to reach me.
Okay. And as for me, you can find me on LinkedIn, on X at Smearin_off_ice, on the HETMA community, and each month here on AVNation's EdTech podcast. and that can be found on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find AVNation's podcasts like Women in AV, State of Control, AV Career Mastermind, and much, much more, all at AVNation. See you next time.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.